Today's episode of Chicago Bears Now is sponsored by Mint Mobile. Lower your wireless cell phone provider bill to just $15 per month by switching to Mint Mobile today. You can get started at mintmobile.com/chatsports. Mint Mobile, it is owned and operated by actor Ryan Reynolds. All right, on today's show, we're going to have some Bears winners and losers from the preseason opener against the Kansas City Chiefs. A nice little 19-14 win for Chicago, erasing a 14-0 deficit at halftime. Certainly saw some good things from the Bears. Now, to be objective, I would say the Chiefs starters outplayed the Bears starters, but should that really surprise anybody at the end of the day? I thought some of the Bears reserves really stood out. Certainly, overall, a positive start to the Matt Eberflus regime as we work our way through the preseason. I think there were certainly some takeaways. Now, I don't have Justin Fields in the winner or loser category, but I do want to talk about the quarterback. Played 3 drives, went 4 of 7 for 48 yards, also had a 10-yard scramble. I thought he did some good things. Connected with Darnell Mooney on a little one-on-one fade route that Mooney was able to go up and get for 26 yards. Threw a nice back shoulder ball to Tajae Sharpe. 2 of his 3 incompletions were ones that could have been caught, and another one was batted down at the line of scrimmage. I thought he was smart with the football. Took 2 sacks. One, he probably held the ball too long. The other one, he just had no chance whatsoever. So some good, some bad, a mixed bag. I don't think anything he did on either side of the spectrum was overwhelmingly positive or negative. I thought he did some good things. I thought he did some not so great things, but overall, over 3 drives, on 2 of the 3 drives, the Bears moved the ball fairly well before stalling out just outside of field goal range. So grade Justin Fields' play in the preseason opener. Type A, B, C, D, or F. You're watching this the day after the game, but we're filming it the day of the game. That's why it says today. A, B, C, D, or F. Grade Justin Fields' play against the Kansas City Chiefs. All right, let's get into some Bears winners in the preseason opener. How about Trestan Ebner, the rookie running back out of Baylor? We'll talk about him for a second. Caught a touchdown pass on a nice little angle route. You know when you play Madden or NCAA and you've got that route out of the backfield where the back kind of fakes out and then cuts back in the middle. It's always wide open. Well, it was on this one too because he put his foot in the ground and made a defender miss and just caught it and found his way into the end zone. Also had a nice 27-yard run and a strong kick return to start the game as well, out to about the 35-yard line. He looked quick. He looked explosive. I like Trestan Ebner. I think he's going to have a role on this football team. I thought he looked really, really good for Chicago. Next up is Jack Sanborn, another rookie. This one an undrafted free agent on the defensive side of the ball, the linebacker. We hadn't heard a ton of him during training camp. We heard his name a lot during OTAs and minicamp, but he really stood out. He made a lot of plays, picked off Chiefs quarterback Shane Buechele, also recovered a fumble. I think he led the Bears in tackles with 7, or maybe he was tied for the lead, but he was all over the place. You know when you watch the preseason and you're kind of having that internal battle of does he look good because of the competition or is he actually playing well? He's one of those players where you're like, okay, yes, he's playing against backups, but he just looks like a smart football player. He's always around the football. He tackles well. He has good instincts, which was shown on that interception. I think he helped his chances of making this 53-man roster. He is firmly on the bubble, and with Roquan Smith out, I think the Bears need to evaluate which linebackers can give them some punch this year. I think Jack Sanborn looked like a guy who can at least make some plays for Chicago. Also had a couple of nice plays on special teams. Will Jack Sanborn make the Bears' 53-man roster? Type Y for yes, type in for no. We might take a look at an updated 53-man roster projection coming up in the next week or so. Y for yes, in for no. Will Jackie Sanborn make the 53-man roster? You know who might make it is Tajae Sharpe, the veteran wide receiver who missed the first week and a half of training camp, but put together a couple of nice practices earlier this week, and then really made a couple of nice plays in the preseason opener and had a back shoulder ball from Justin Fields, which was a dot, by the way, probably the best ball Fields threw, able to extend, tip it to himself, and toe drag on the sideline. Then he high-pointed a ball from Trevor Siemian, which was a nice little catch where he went up and got it. He looked like a guy that's played in the NFL before, which he has. He's got 8 touchdowns in his NFL career. So I think he really did a nice job to give himself a chance to make this roster. Keep an eye on Tajae Sharpe moving forward. I think he's got a chance to make this football team. Trenton Gill, hey, listen, you never want your punter to take the field, but the reality is he was booming them, and I think he had 2 or 3 inside the 10, 1 just outside the 10, and a couple of his punts landed softly and gave the punt team a chance to go down and down the football inside the 5. He looked legit, man. I think you've maybe upgraded at punter, and that's not to say Pat O'Donnell was a bad punter, but Trenton Gill looks like the real deal. The rookie out of NC State, he can boom it. He can angle it to the sideline. There was one where he angled it where the returner could have let it go or caught it, but he caught it on the dead sprint as he was going out of bounds at the 3. Sure, he could have let it go, but that ball was not going to go to the end zone. That was a perfectly placed punt. He looks legit, can be a weapon if you need to pin the opponents deep in their own territory. Shout out to Mint Mobile for sponsoring today's show. They have unlimited premium wireless service with plans starting at just $15 per month. Couple of cool features here. One, really high-speed data. They're going to switch seamlessly between 5G and 4G depending on your location, wherever you are in the U.S. They'll be able to find the best service in that area. You also get a free mobile hotspot, which is something that can come in handy as well. You can connect via that hotspot if the Wi-Fi is not working well in that area also, or if you're in a spot where there isn't Wi-Fi. mintmobile.com/chatsports, and you can keep your same phone and phone number today. Just switch plans. They'll send you in digital SIM card to get you started. Only takes about 15 minutes. mintmobile.com/chatsports. Plans starting at $15 per month. Check the comments, check the descriptions. All right, one more winner from the preseason opener. One of the biggest ones, Jaquan Brisker. We've been telling you for months this kid's going to be a player. He's a player, guys. He's legit. 4 tackles, had a nice tackle for loss, had a pass breakup as well where he jumped her out and almost picked it. I would say he was about not even a half step behind, about a quarter step. Had he seen it about a tenth of a second earlier, I think he would have picked that ball, maybe even gone the other way. The instincts are there. He looks like the truth, man. He looks like the real deal. One of my hot takes a couple of months ago was that by the end of this season, Jaquan Brisker is going to be the best player in the secondary. I truly think that might be the case. He can lay the wood. He can cover. He can play the run game, the pass. He has good instincts. He hits hard. He just does it all, man. And he puts a lot of pressure on himself to be great. Like, his drive is excellent. So I'm excited about him. I think you guys should be excited about him as well. Before we get to some Bears losers from the preseason opener, help us out. Subscribe to the channel. We are closing in on 50,000 subscribers. Just about 250 away, I think. Got a couple hundred from our watch party. Hope you guys joined us. We'll have another watch party this Thursday night against the Seattle Seahawks. So hit that big red button and subscribe. We've got the latest Bears news and rumors coming at you daily throughout training camp and on into the regular season. All right, some losers from the preseason opener. How about the freaking field? Soldier Field. My God, you've already got this whole thing going on where the Bears are legitimately considering leaving for Arlington Heights for reasons beyond the playing surface. But now, if you guys didn't see the photos, I encourage you guys to look. I should have pulled up a couple to show you guys. The turf, the surface, it is a joke. I mean, there are real potholes on the surface, and I get it. This stadium, over the course of a season, it wears down. It's hard to maintain the grass in Chicago. I get all that. But, dude, it is mid-August, and this field is in terrible shape. It quite frankly was borderline unsafe to play, to be honest. NFLPA President JC Tretter tweeted out that game should not have been played. I don't know if I'd go that far, but I understand where he's coming from. I mean, you really zoom into the stadium, there's dirt clods. It's bad. Like, there's legitimate potholes on that field. They got to figure that out. Luckily, Bears don't have a home game until the season opener on September 11th, so you got about 4 weeks to figure this out. But you better do it quickly because playing on that surface, you're just asking for someone to break an ankle. Do the Bears just need to move to Arlington Heights now? I mean, just start. Just cut the what's the phrase? Just rip off the Band-Aid and move on. 1 for yes, 0 for no. Get the state-of-the-art stadium built. I'd love to stay in Chicago, but you know what? There's already a ton of other reasons to leave, and the city's begging you to stay, and that's the field the stadium is currently looking like. It's not good. 1 for yes, 0 for no. Let me know what you guys think. Couple more losers. I won't say a major loser, but Khalil Herbert, I thought he was hesitant on a couple of runs. Thought Trestan Ebner looked better, to be frank. He was hesitant a couple times, and he had a bad drop and another opportunity to catch a ball that was a little low on a check down, but I think he could have caught it. The other one he had a chance on, I mean, it was a simple swing pass. He just flat out dropped it. So, again, it's the preseason. I think we're going to focus more on the winners. But, Herbert being that backup to David Montgomery, he needs to play a little better because Trestan Ebner's coming. And if he keeps playing well and if Herbert struggles a bit, Ebner could get a bigger role on this football team. One more, Michael Schofield. He wasn't a disaster, but he got whipped a couple of times by Chris Jones, who's an all-pro caliber player, so I'm not going to sit here and be like, yeah, Michael Schofield needs to block him one-on-one very easily. But he got beat a couple of times. Now, Riley Reif didn't play at right tackle, so you had Larry Borum over there. Lucas Patrick wasn't out at center. It's still Sam Mustipher. So, Schofield was arguably the best lineman from center to right tackle, so maybe they had to isolate him one-on-one, which isn't ideal because he's not an all-pro by any means, but you hope he plays a little bit better there. Not a major issue, but I did think the left side of the offensive line played better, so shout out Braxton Jones. You could have put him in the winners category. He played really, really well, I thought. Only got beat on one rep that I noticed. There you go. Bears preseason winners and losers coming at you here on a Sunday, the day after the Bears play. Shout out to the real ones who made it to the end of the video. Type FGB if you made it this far because F Green Bay. We all hate the Packers here on Chicago Bears Now. I'm your host, Harrison Graham. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you guys tomorrow with another video.